Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on this first webinar about DAPSI, the Data Portability and Services Incubator, funded by the European Commission under H2020 Research and Innovation Program, and also part of the Next Generation Internet Initiative. I am Miguel Gonçalves from F6S, which is the largest startup and SME community globally with over 1.7 million entrepreneurs. And I will be your co-host for today's webinar, whose topic is to present the most important information on how to apply to DAPSI's first open call. This episode will be recorded and made available on YouTube. So now I'd like to introduce the agenda and the speakers. Today I have the pleasure to share the microphone with Sarah from Zavala Innovation Consulting and also DAPSI's project coordinator, who will explain what exactly is DAPSI. Nahmed from Fraunhofer will address the existing challenges in the data portability field. And Sarah will come again to explain step by step how to apply to the first DAPSI's open call. At the end of this session, we will have time to answer one by one all the questions written on the chat box. So please use the chat box to ask your questions. Now, Sarah, can you tell us what is DAPSI exactly?
Hello, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Miguel, for the introduction. I will start with this presentation about the project. Sorry, okay. So first, I would like to start explaining the context with where this project begins. As you will be aware, since 2018, we have a new regulation, the General Data Protection Regulation, the GDPR, and in this framework, we have the aim of making easier for citizens to have any data which is stored with one service provider transmitted directly to another provider. In general, we have to make for the citizens easier and facilitate the control over their personal data. So taking this into account, there is also a initiative from the European Commission, the NGI, Next Generation Internet, where the Commission pursues an open internet, more inclusive, transparent, where privacy is warranted, and in general terms, to make the future internet more human-centric. So taking these two things into account, we can say that DAPSI is a project that supports these two main pillars. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, so in general terms, DAPSI will foster the advanced research in the data portability field through the support to researchers, SMEs, startups, innovators, any kind of individual or company. And we will support them with equity-free funding and a pack of services. These services will be coaching, mentoring in the needed areas, both technical and business areas. And it will support these selected teams to successfully reach the market with their use cases, when of course this is the final goal for them. If we give some figures about the project, we can say that this is a 3 years project. It started in November last year, So we are in the first months of the project, and we have around 7 million euros from the European Commission to carry out this project, and from this amount 5.6 million euros will be distributed to fund third parties. So the main amount of this budget will be to support these third parties. To execute this project, we are 6 partners from 5 different countries. Here you can see who we are. I'm today presenting the project as a coordinator. I'm working in Zabala Innovation Consulting. This is a consultancy firm based in Spain, and we are in charge of the coordination of the project, and also we are in charge of the call management. But we are not alone in this work. We have the support also from F6S. This is the largest social network for startups in the world, with more than 1 million tech startups in the platform. And this entity will provide the F6S platform for the submission of applications, and they also will be leading all the dissemination activities. We have also on board from HOFA. They are our experts in the data portability field. We have also engineering. They are an IT company based in Italy that will be providing infrastructure and experience in the Fiber Lab framework. And we have also 2 French partners. We have the Institut Mines Telecom. They are a public institution supporting innovation and business development. And we have also Cap Digital, that is a business cluster. Both Cap Digital and IMT will be in charge of the DAPSI program management, with all the related activities to support third parties in their business development. So just to complete this overview about the project, I would like to say that we are launching now our first call, but we will have 3 open calls in total through the whole duration of the project. Through these 3 open calls, we will select up to 50 teams, SMEs, innovators, researchers. They will be engaged in a 9 to 10 months program. They can get up to 150,000 euros through this participation. It will depend on some factors that we will see in the next slides. And as already said, through the funding of all these teams, we will distribute 5.6 million euros. Okay, well, sorry again. So for those teams selected through our open call, selected to start the program, I would like to explain a bit how it works and how it is organized. In this first call, we plan to recruit around 15 teams. And as you can see on the screen, we will follow a funnel approach. In that way, only around 10 teams will pass to the second phase. Phase 1 will last around 5 months, and it will be devoted to help the selected teams to clearly detail the research and innovation activities and the related use case that they want to solve. For that, we will provide them with funding up to 100,000 in the first phase. And also we will provide technical and non-technical support services through online training in principle. And we also offer potential access to fiber lab infrastructure. This first phase will start in September this year. It will start with a kickoff event. Then there will be a first payment, a pre-financing after this kickoff event. The work will start with the teams, and there will be a midterm evaluation, remote, to control the progress of the teams. In this moment, there will be a new payment, and at the end of this phase, after 5 months of work, there will be an evaluation, demolition pitch competition, where the best teams will progress to the next phase. They will be evaluated, and also there will be a second payment. During the phase 2, the qualified teams will be engaged in a new part of the program. It will have a duration of 4 months. And in this phase, they will have to implement an operational and viable version of this solution, more advanced, more ready to be launched to the market in the short run. Of course, perhaps it's not always the goal for the teams to launch something to the market. It could be the case that this is not the exploitation strategy, but if it is, we will work to have a product mature for that. In this phase, they will be able to receive up to 50,000 euros. And again, they will be supported with technical and business related services and access to infrastructure. This second phase will end with a final event where all the teams will be again evaluated, and if everything goes according to the plan, they will receive the final payment. Okay. Well, regarding the target audience of this program, we can say that this is open to any natural person or legal entity with the expertise, the skills, and the capacity to propose a relevant project in the data portability field. So you can apply as a natural person or linked to a research institution or a university or enterprise. If you apply as a natural person, you have the possibility to apply individually or in a consortium with other natural persons. In the case of legal entities, there is the same possibility. You can apply individually, or it can be a cooperative project with more than one entity. The options are many, and it's also possible to apply also in a consortium of natural persons and legal entities. There is not a limitation in terms of consortium size. And regarding the profiles, well, we expect people belonging to the research field. They can be researchers, internet technologists, people more linked to the business side, like innovators, developers. So any profile is welcome. Depending on the kind of consortium you build, the funding will be different. We have limited the funding amount depending on if you apply, for example, like a natural person individually, one person only. The maximum amount that you can receive for the participation in the program is 37,500,000 euros. If the applicants are two natural persons, the maximum amount will be 75,000 euros. And for any other combination, legal entities, more than two persons, or consortia of many entities, the maximum amount will be 150,000 euros. And now, after this introduction about the project, I would like to give the floor to my colleague from HOFA, and then we will continue with the open call explanation.
Hello everyone. My name is Najma, and I will briefly present the data portability research subdomains which we identified as Fraunhofer. So I will talk about four main subdomains which we identified. The first one is data transparency, which deals with offering methods and approaches for a more transparent personal data storage within the companies and service providers, and also to for a more fine-grained data transfer when the data is being transferred from one environment to another. So when the end user are exercising their personal data access right. And the second subdomain is about data interoperability and compatibility, which aims to facilitate this transfer between the different service providers. And the third one is about security and privacy to ensure that these personal data are transferred in a secure way. And we also have general subcategories other that can be any related topic to data portability that may not go under these main subcategories, like data correction, data ownership, user education about their rights, for example, based on GDPR, and etc. So I will briefly explain about these subdomains. Currently, when an end users request their data to be transferred, the companies and the service providers, they do not follow any specific data structure. So they can, for example, offer dumps of data in text or in any other format. And this makes it difficult for transferring the data. So our solution is using open standards for storage of the data within the company, as well as the transfer of data and delivery of data. And this means using vocabularies, open standards, metadata descriptions, ontologies, and etc. The challenges during this data transfer is that we should assure that the data subject, so the end user, has the full control of traceability of their data during the transfer. And there could be some visualization tools to improve the user understanding about what kind of data is being collected, what kind of data is being transferred, what is deleted, and etc. And also enabling the end users to change their settings at any times. So the next category and subdomain is data interoperability and compatibility. So as I said, when the data is being transferred from the one environment to the second one, it could be difficult because the service providers and companies, they may have different data model and architectures within their companies, and this makes this transfer difficult. Again, our solution is using common standards and shared vocabularies for storage and also for transferring the data. So basically, whenever we talk about interoperability, the semantic technologies and the vocabularies and ontologies comes into the picture. And also enforcing the companies and the service providers to implement FAIR principles. So if you are not familiar, it's findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. FIR, which is FAIR principles, and the challenges that may come up during this data transfer is for sure designing a cross-domain data architecture that different companies and service providers can apply, and using established and open data models and standards, for example, RDF data models and shared vocabularies that are W3C standards, and tools for data conversion from one format to another. And the third category and subdomain is security and privacy, which should ensure secure data encryption and transmission during data transfer. So it should follow data encryption standards, which are established in the community. During the transfer, the data should be fully anonymized, and it should ensure data correctness and integrity when the data is transferred. And last but not least, we also have some other related categories and topics which may not fall into the main subcategory and subdomain, like data correction, which is a main step in data cleansing, if you are familiar with. So basically, it's about approaches and methods of correcting the data when it contains error. Data ownership, it's about who owns the data and about the legal rights of the owner of the data. And user education, for example, users may want to know what are the rights according to the legislation, like for example in Europe according to GDPR, and some other topics that may come into the picture. That's from my side.
That's great. Thank you, Najma. Please, dear participant, don't forget to ask your question on the checkbox so we can answer them at the end of the session. Now, for all the potential applicants, it's very important to hear what Sarah have to say in order to successfully submit your proposal.
Okay, thank you.
Sarah, you are in control.
Thank you. So now I will start with more practical information for the call preparation. Well, how to apply? Well, first, I would say that there is a first step that it's very, very important. We cannot miss this step, and it's very simple. It's to read the guidelines and the facts section in our website, the frequently asked questions. The guidelines is a document that contains all the information you need to prepare your proposal. It details the call. It gives an overview of the project, the call, and the program. It gives you detailed information about all the eligibility criteria you have to comply with to be eligible for evaluation. Also, it explains the evaluation process that proposals will follow, the kind of financial support provided to parties in each case, how to prepare and submit the proposals through the official channels, etc. So please read this document because it's key for success. As a second step, you have to choose your challenge, to have a clear idea about what you're going to solve, always in the data portability domain. Remember that this is a data portability project, so anything you propose can be under any of the three main areas already identified, or it can be also a different thing, as Nahmeh already explained, but always in the data portability domain. And once you have your idea clear and you have carefully read the guidelines, you can start preparing your proposal. For that, there are different things you must prepare. First, there is a form. This is available in F6's platform. This is an online form you can access through the link in the screen, and you should register in the platform if you are not yet. And then there are a few sections to fill in the form. The first one is the proposal identification, some basic information about the acronym, title, etc. There is a second section for the subdomain selection. This is just to select the area of work for your proposal. There is a section for administrative data, where all the information related to participants must be included. There is a section 4 in the form where you have to include the proposal description. In this section, you have to upload a document, not to fill directly in the form. And then there is section 5 for final questions. This is basic questions about you have to click if you are in compliance with the open call rules, if all the information submitted is true, this kind of questions. Okay. So regarding this section 4 with the proposal description, this is a mandatory document that you have to upload. This is also shown in the screen. This is a Word template provided by us. This is the official template. You have to use this to prepare your proposal description. It's not allowed to upload any other kind of document. We have the experience that some people have uploaded, imagine a company presentation or a description of a project, but in another different format. This is not allowed. If the proposal template is not used, the proposal is not eligible and it is discarded. It won't be evaluated. So please pay attention to this and use this template, that it's available in our website and also can be downloaded from the F6S form. Also read the template carefully, because in the front page you have information about the size for the text, about the length. The maximum length allowed is 8 pages. So respect all the rules described in this front page. After reading everything, you can remove this front page and just to submit the rest of the proposal description. You will find in this proposal template some blue text. This is a guidance text that invites you to explain to detail the kind of information we need for your evaluation. So please try to answer and to complete the proposal template according to this blue text that guides you in the process. And finally, you can see in the screen like a third document. This is the additional applicants information template. This is not mandatory at all. It only needs to be uploaded if applies. When does it apply? Well, if you are preparing a proposal with a big consortium with more than 3 legal entities or with more than 3 individual persons, the form in F6S is not ready to include many participants in the form. So you will have to provide the information about these extra additional partners in this additional template. So it's just needed in case of very big consortia. Well, once we have everything this in mind, also I would like to remind you this information about eligibility criteria that it's detailed in the guidelines. Eligible means that you can be legally selected to be part of the DAPSI program. So even if your proposal is very good, is well explained, if you don't meet all these eligibility rules, we are not able to select you. So pay attention to this. I will list them today, but please read it carefully. The first one is about the type of beneficiary. I already said that natural persons are eligible for funding, also legal entities, but there is one exception. We are not able to fund large enterprises. They cannot participate. So be careful and do not include large enterprises in your consortia. Also, a country of establishment and residence. This is the second point regarding eligibility. We found companies, or in the case of individuals, they must be resident in an eligible country. These are the member states of the European Union, also the overseas countries and territories, the Horizon 2020 associated countries, and also UK applicants are eligible. To really check if your company or you as individual are eligible, please go to the guidelines. There you have the list of countries, the link to the list of countries in detail. The third thing is the language. Everything must be submitted in the official language. This is the English language. And submission in other language won't be evaluated. It's also important. The next thing is that no multiple submissions are allowed. Only one proposal per applicant will be evaluated. In the case of a multiple submission, only the last one received will enter into our evaluation process. The rest will be declared as non-eligible. So if the last submitted proposal is declared non-eligible or fails to reach the threshold for the evaluation, the other proposal submitted earlier won't be considered for evaluation in any case. So take this into account. Also, we have to be careful with conflict of interest. It means that applicants cannot be DAPSI consortium partners or affiliated entities, nor their employees or cooperators under a contractual agreement. And finally, also I missed the second one, the official submission system and templates. It means that you have to use the official channels available for the submission. It must be submitted through F6's platform using our project templates. Any other channel, for example, the submission by email or another tool, is not allowed. And finally, the deadline. be aware that the open call will close on the 22nd of April at midday, 12 noon, not midnight, midday. So send it in time. And now I would like to explain briefly the evaluation process. There is, first of all, an eligibility filter. As already mentioned, the eligibility criteria is the first thing we check once we close the open call. We will check that proposals and applicants are compliant with all the eligibility rules. And once we have this filter done, we have the proposals ready for evaluation. Only those that passed the eligibility filter go for evaluation. This will be a remote evaluation. It will be executed by some experts in the field, external experts from our advisory board. Each proposal will be evaluated by at least 2 evaluators, and they will assess the following criteria. First, excellence and innovation with a 40% of the weight. Expertise and excellence of the proposed team with a 30% of the weight. And finally, the project planning and value for money with a 30% of the weight. When filling the proposal description, be aware that each information that it's requested in the template, it's directly evaluated. It corresponds to something that will be evaluated. So again, I repeat, try to follow all the guidance text that is included in the template. Regarding the scoring scheme, there will be a scale from 0 to 5 in its criterion. For each section, the minimum threshold will be 3 out of 5 points, and the default overall threshold will be 12. Once we evaluate these proposals, there will be a consensus meeting with the consortium, the evaluators, and after this consensus meeting, we will have the ranking list ready for the approval by the European Commission. After this, we will communicate the results to each participant, and each participant, each applicant will receive a evaluation summary report if the proposal was evaluated, but in any case you will receive or a invitation letter to participate or a rejection letter, but in any case you will receive communication of results. And about the timeline, we already mentioned that the call deadline is on the 22nd of April. But after that, there will be a process for evaluation between end April to June. And hopefully by the beginning of June, we will be able to communicate the results. After this, during the summer period, July, August, we will start the preparation of the sub-grant agreement. We will request all the needed information to prepare these agreements, and we will proceed to the signature of the document between the consortium and the sub-grantee. Once everything is formalized, we will be ready to start DAPSI program in September with the kickoff meeting already mentioned. And after all this information, I just have to say that please, I hope this is helpful. Read everything in detail and apply through the official channel, and of course before the deadline on the 22nd, 12th midday.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Sarah, for sharing. I believe this is very valuable information with all the potential applicants. Now let's have a look. Let's take a look at the participants' questions. And the first one is from Beatriz Teves, who asks, "Will you share the slides anywhere?" Well, this webinar is being recorded and the video will be shared on YouTube. The slides will be shared on the SlideShare account of DAPSI. They can also have them on that platform. Is there a link? Joss asks, is there a link to the guidelines available? The answer is yes. If you go to the DAPSI website dapsi.ngi.eu/apply, at the end of the page, you will find the 3 documents that you should read before applying, and there is the guidelines available also. Rembis asks, "Hi, we have a question about the proposal application. Does the one proposal per applicant apply only for the leader of the consortium or for all the participants?" I think this question is for Sarah.
Yeah, well, it applies to any participant, not just for the leader. So if one entity or an individual is engaged in one proposal, it doesn't matter if it is as a coordinator or as a partner, it must be exclusive. So yeah, only one proposal in each case.
Good. Another question from Beatriz Teves. If we get rejected on the first call, can we apply to the second or the third with the same team?
Well, I can answer again. Yeah, you are allowed to apply to the second and third call, but we cannot guarantee that the rules, conditions, and eligible applicants and FEMs will be the same in the coming calls. So check in each call which are the rules for participation. But in principle, you are not restricted to participate in the next calls if you are rejected.
Okay. Another question. We already have a startup regarding data portability in which we sketched a business plan and an MVP project based on a market research and previous attempt. It is fine for our submission to just be a reflection of our project, even though we've been working in this already in the past year.
Okay, I can also give here my answer. I would say that you have to read carefully the guidelines to see if what you have or what you are working in, it's aligned with the project and with the goal. And of course, you can have been working in this area before. It's good, but here we want to select themes where we plan to observe an evolution. We want to see you progressing. So you can have something already worked, but now here in our program we give you funding and supporting services to improve your solution or to develop a more ambitious version of it, but we want to see any progress. Okay.
Next question from Lee. Regarding the evaluation criteria, do experts compare projects between each other to select the best one from applied ones? or they evaluate them independently?
Well, its evaluator will have to evaluate some of the proposals. I think that they will evaluate it individually according to a criteria already defined. But of course, I think that at the same time, as they are evaluating so many projects, I think that they cannot avoid this kind of comparison between the projects they evaluate. But no, I would say that this is something individual.
Okay. Another question, if we submit an application as an entity, do we need to also fill information under individual section, or it needs to be completely ignored? For entities, we do not see any specific section to provide detailed experience of the team members. Please advise.
Let me read the question carefully.
Here the answer, I think, is if you are going to participate as a legal entity, not as individual natural person, you should ignore the individual section on the form.
Oh, yes. Yeah. The form is prepared to contain all the questions that could be necessary in any case, but you have also to fill those that applies in your specific case. If you are applying as a legal entity, you don't have to fill the information about individual persons.
Yes, and the detailed experience of the team members, correct me if I'm wrong, Sarah, could be filled on the proposal template.
Yes, yeah. In the proposal template, we expect to have information about the main participants in the project at individual level. So we want to know more about the CV, the experience, the skills of any individual person. It doesn't matter if they belong to a legal entity or they apply individually.
There's another question also for our startup. We already have a proof of concept and we are running to conclude some banking partnership. Is this an upgrading term for evaluation in case?
We have up, can we are running to conclude some importance? Okay, you have to self evaluate your solution. If you are in a point very close to the market where your technical solution is already is ready, I think that perhaps this program is not suitable for you, because here we expect to see progress from the technical point of view also. So perhaps you are in a more mature level that what we expect.
Another question from Vitaly. Our team consists of technicians mostly. Would it be beneficial to mention PR and finance specialists as well?
Okay, I think that a very good team is a balanced team. So if you consider that for your project execution, there will be also finance specialists that are key for this development. Of course, you should include them. Yeah.
Any other question from the participants? Okay, I guess not. So all questions answered. Well, don't forget to check out DAPSI's website, to subscribe to our newsletter, to reach us by email also, dapsi@ngi.eu, or on social media. We are on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. And I would like to thank you, everyone, Sarah, Ahmed, and all the participants for participating and listening. And good luck for your application. And stay safe. Have a nice week. Goodbye.
Thank you, Miguel.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.